The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. Produced by Living Peacemakers. 2023. Chapter 37. Hopeful and Buy-ins. Now I saw in my dream that Christian went not forth alone, for there was one whose name was Hopeful, being made so by the beholding of Christian and Faithful, in their words and behavior, in their sufferings at the fair, who joined himself unto him, and entering into a brotherly covenant, told him that he would be his companion. Thus one died to bear testimony to the truth, and another rises out of his ashes, to be a companion with Christian in his pilgrimage. This Hopeful also told Christian that there were many more of the men in the fair that would take their time and follow after. So I saw that quickly after they were got out of the fair, they overtook one that was going before them, whose name was Buy-ins. So they said to him, "What, countryman, sir, and how far go you this way?" He told them that he came from the town of Fair Speech, and that he was going to the celestial city, but told them not his name. "From Fair Speech," said Christian, "is there any good that lives there?" "Yes," said Buy-ins, "I hope." "Pray, sir, what may I call you?" said Christian. "I am a stranger to you, and you to me. If you be going this way, I shall be glad of your company. If not, I must be content." "This town of Fair Speech," said Christian, "I have heard of it, and as I remember, they say it is a wealthy place." "Yes, I will assure you that it is, and I have very many rich kindred there." "Pray, who are your kindred there, if a man may be so bold?" "Almost the whole town, and in particular, my Lord Turnabout, my Lord Timeserver, my Lord Fair Speech, from whose ancestors that town first took its name, and also Mr. Smoothman, Mr. Faithing Both Ways, Mr. Anything, and the parson of our parish, Mr. Two Tongues, was my mother's own brother. For father's side, and to tell you the truth, I am become a gentleman of good quality, yet my great-grandfather was but a waterman, looking one way and rowing another, and I got most of my estate by the same occupation." "Are you a married man?" "Yes, and my wife is a very virtuous woman. The daughter of a virtuous woman, she was my Lady Fane's daughter. Therefore, she came of very honourable family, and is arrived to such a pitch of breeding that she knows how to carry it to all, even to prince and peasant. If it is true somewhat differ in religion from those of the stricter sort, yet but in two small points. First, we never strive against wind and tide. Secondly, we are always most zealous when religion goes in silver slippers. We love much to walk with him in the street, if the sun shines and the people applaud him." Then Christian stepped a little aside to his fellow Hopeful, saying, "It runs in my mind that this is one Buy-ins of Fair Speech, and if it be he, we have as very a knave in our company as dwelleth in all these parts." Then said Hopeful, "Ask him. Methinks he should not be ashamed of his name." So Christian came up with him again and said, "Sir, you talk as if you knew something more than all the world doth, and if I take not my mark amiss, I deem I have half a guess of you. Is not your name Mr. Buy-ins of Fair Speech?" "This is not my name, but indeed it is a nickname, that it is given me by some that cannot abide me, and I must be content to bear it as a reproach, as other good men have borne theirs before me." "But did you never give an occasion to men to call you by this name?" "Never, never. The worst that I ever did to give them an occasion to give me this name was, that I had always the luck to jump in my judgment with the present way of the times, whatever it was, and my chance was to get thereby.
But if things are thus cast upon me, let me count them a blessing. But let not the malicious load me therefore with reproach.
I thought indeed that you were the man that I heard of, and to tell you what I think, I fear this name belongs to you more properly than you are willing we should think it doth.
Well, if you will thus imagine, I cannot help it. You shall find me a fair company keeper if you will still admit me your associate.
If you will go with us, you must go against the wind and tide, the which I perceive is against your opinion. You must also own religion in his rags, as well as when in his silver slippers, and stand by him too, when bound in irons, as well as when he walketh the streets with applause.
You must not impose nor lord it over my faith. Leave me to my liberty, and let me go with you.
Not a step further, unless you will do in what I propound as we.
Then said Bunyan, I shall never desert my old principles, since they are harmless and profitable. If I may not go with you, I must do as I did before you overtook me, even go by myself, until some overtake me that will be glad of my company.
Chapter 38. Money Love. Now I saw in my dream that Christian and Hopeful forsook Mr. Bunyan's, and kept their distance before him. But one of them, looking back, saw 3 men following Mr. Bunyan's, and behold, as they came up with him, he made them a very low conge, and they also gave him a compliment. The men's names were Mr. Hold the World, Mr. Moneylove, and Mr. Save-All, men that Mr. Bunyan's had formerly been acquainted with, for in their minority they were schoolfellows, and were taught by one Mr. Gripeman, a schoolmaster in Lovegain, which is a market town in the county of Coveting in the north. This schoolmaster taught them the art of getting, either by violence, cozenage, flattery, lying, or by putting on a guise of religion. And these 4 gentlemen had attained much of the art of their master, so that they could each of them have kept such a school themselves. Well, when they had, as I said, thus saluted each other, Mr. Moneylove said to Mr. Bunyan's,
Who are they upon the road before us?
For Christian and Hopeful were yet within view.
They are a couple of far countrymen that, after their mode, are going on pilgrimage. Alas, why did not they stay, that we might have had their good company? For they, and we, and you, sir, I hope, are all going on a pilgrimage. We are so indeed, but the men before us are so rigid, and love so much their own notions, and do also so lightly esteem the opinions of others, that let a man be never so godly, yet if he jumps not with them in all things, they thrust him quite out of their company. Mirth is hard, but we've heard of some that are righteous overmuch, and such men's wickedness preserves within to judge and condemn all but themselves. But, I pray, what, and how many were the things wherein you differed? Ay, they after their headstrong manner conclude that it is duty to rush on their journey all weathers, and I am for waiting for wind and tide. They are for having all for God at a clap, and I am for taking all advantages to secure my life and estate. They are for holding their notions, though all other men are against them, but I am for revision in what and so far as at times, and my safety will bear it. They are for religion when it rags in contempt, but I am for him when he walks in his golden slippers in the sunshine, and with applause. Aye, and hold you there still, good Mr. Bunyan's, for my part, I can count him but a fool, that having the liberty to keep what he has, shall be so unwise as to lose it. Let us be wise as serpents. It is best to make hay when the sun shines. You see how the bee lieth still all winter, and bestirs her only when she can have profit with pleasure. God sends sometimes rain, and sometimes sunshine. if they be such fools to go through the first. Yet let us be content to take fair weather along with us. For my part, I like that religion best that will stand with the security of God's good blessing unto us. For who can imagine that it is ruled by his reason, since God has bestowed upon us the good things of this life, but that he would have kept them for his sake? Abraham and Solomon grew rich in religion, and Job says that a good man shall lay up gold as dust. But he must not be such as the men before us, if they be as you have described them. I think that we are all agreed in this matter, and therefore there needs no more words about it. No, there needs no more words about this matter indeed, for he that believeth neither the Scripture nor reason, and you see we have both on our side, neither knows his own liberty, nor seeks his own safety. My brethren, we are, as you see, going on our pilgrimage, and for our better diversion from things that are bad, give me leave to propound unto you this question. Suppose a man, a minister, or a tradesman, etc., should have an advantage lying before him, to get the good blessings of this life, yet so as that he can by no means come by them, except, in appearance at least, he become extraordinarily zealous in some points of religion, that he meddled not with before. May he not use this means to attain his end, and yet be a right honest man? I see the bottom of your question, and with these gentlemen's good leave, I will endeavour to shape you an answer, and first to speak to your question of the concerns a minister himself. Suppose a minister, a worthy man, possessed but of a very small benefice, and has in his eyes a greater, more fat and plump by far. He has also now an opportunity of getting it, yet so as by being more studious, by preaching more frequently and zealously, and because the temper of the people requires it, by altering of some of his principles. For my part, I see no reason but a man may do this, provided he has a call, aye, and more a great deal besides, and yet be an honest man. For why? 1. His desire of a greater benefice is lawful. This cannot be contradicted, since it is set before him by providence. So then he may get it, if he can, making no question for conscience sake. 2. Besides, his desire after that benefice makes him more studious, a more zealous teacher, etc., and so makes him a better man, yea, makes him better improve his part, which is according to the mind of God. Now, as for complying with the temper of his people by dissenting, to serve them, some of his principles this argueth. A. That he is of self-denying temper. B. Of a sweet and winning deportment, and so C. More fit for the ministerial function. 4. I conclude then that a minister that changes a small for a great should not for doing it be judged as covetous, but rather, since he is improved in his parts and industry thereby, be counted as one that pursues his call, and the opportunity put into his hand to do good. And now to the second part of the question, which concerns the tradesman you mentioned. Suppose such a one to have but a poor employ in the world, but by becoming a religious, he may mend his market, perhaps get a rich wife or more, and far be better customers to his shops. For my part, I see no reason but that this may be lawfully done. For why? 1. To become religious is a virtue, but what means soever a man becomes so. 2. Nor is it unlawful could get a rich wife, or more accustomed to my shop. 3. Besides, The man that gets these by becoming religious gets that which is good of them that are good by becoming good himself. So then here is a good wife, and a good customers, and good gain, and all these by becoming religious, which is good. Therefore to become religious, to get all of these, is a good and profitable design.
This answer, thus made by this Mr. Moneylove to Mr. Bunyan's question, was highly applauded by them all, wherefore they concluded, upon the whole, that it was the most wholesome and advantageous. And because as they thought no man was able to contradict it, and because Christian and Hopeful were yet within call, they jointly agreed to assault them with the question as soon as they overtook them, and the rather because they had opposed Mr. Bunyan's before.